Hello there everyone. So first of all, I'm very sorry for not being able to put out content for the last 2 months, I think. So that's because of the pandemic situation and everything. Everything was pretty hectic, but I'll try to make it up to everyone with the upcoming updates. So starting off, I'll be reviewing the Folio Society edition of The Little Prince. So, in case you do not know, Folio Society is a publishing house based in, I think, UK. I'm not very sure if it's UK or US, but either of those two. And they put out gorgeous editions of classics. So, this is for The Little Prince. It's a 2-volume edition, and so Little Prince is one of those books wherein it's like a different layered book. So if you read it as a child, you'll have a different experience of the book, of how you interpret the whole story. If you read it as a teen, you'll think it's different, and if you read it as an adult, it's vastly different from what you had originally imagined it to be. It's by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I am hopefully getting that pronunciation right. I'm not very sure of that. And the Folio Society edition is basically 2 books. I'll get to it. So as you can see, I've not taken it out of the plastic cover. It's a very so Folio Society editions are by default extremely costly affairs, but they're totally worth the cost if you can get them. Essentially, they are not actually available in India at all. I was lucky to get hold of this one second hand, so I got it for quite cheap, around 2000, I think, a little less than 2000. But yeah, so The Little Prince is basically in 2 volumes. This is the actual book, the story, and this book contains the narrations, the sketches, the rough part of whatever he did. So let's start off with the actual story. So as you can see, this is a very beautiful texture. It's cloth bound. I'll try to get it on camera. I don't think it would be very visible. So it's cloth bound, in case it's not immediately understandable. Very nice texture. It's like those penguin cloth bound editions. And so opening up this, so this is full of stars and planets. So if you have not read The Little Prince, definitely go read it. It's a very simple story, and I'm pretty sure anyone with a little decent reading speed can have it covered in within like 30 minutes. But it's a profound story. It's often described as life-changing story. So I'll not give it away, but I'll show you the illustrations a little bit. If you have not read the story, this won't pose as a spoiler, but if you've read the story, you'll definitely love these illustrations. So these are of course the original illustrations by so Little Prince has been illustrated along the way lots of times by different people, but I think the actual original illustrations work better because that is how the author intended it to be, and they are gorgeous. And as you can see from the printing style, it's very no nonsense printing style. So I'm not very sure if you can focus on it. Let's see if I can get it to focus a bit. So yeah, pretty decent size for everyone basically. So if you have problems with eyesight, I don't think this would have any problems, because it's not very dense, fairly well spaced apart, and so as you can see, that's a very well done, and the page quality is very nice. Page quality is extremely nice, well stocked paper. These volumes usually come in 2 varieties. So one is, I think, the ones that contain plates from the original story, original writing. I think each book has a different plate, actual illustration from the author in its plate form. I'm not very sure if it's like like the original plate, or if it's reproduced in its most faithful form. But these are not those editions. These are the actual printings. For the plate ones, if I'm not wrong, you have a plate here. So this is where it contains. Those are vastly more expensive than these editions, of course, because those are basically one of a kind. And as you can see, it's a beautiful spiral pattern. I love this part of the book, and I'll open it up. So this comes as you can see, it's the same color as the original book. And then, so what is on the inside are these. So as you can see, it starts off like chapter 2 here starts off. The little princess narrated by an unnamed pilot who is forced to spend the night under the stars. So these are basically observations and original illustrations and so on. This is done by Christine Nelson. So I'll give you the part. Yeah, you can pause it here and read that. So as you can see, this is by Folio Society, FS. And then every chapter has its own narration and what happens and so on. And every page, every alternate page has an illustration. It's a beautiful thing. Basically, it's there is no other way to put it. So these are the original. This is the original writing by the author here. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, that's the Folio Society edition of The Little Prince. So as always, if you have any questions, any comments, anything to say, you can write that down in the comment section below, and do subscribe to the channel. Yeah, happy reading.